And welcome back, everyone, to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. I also want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Glad you all could be with us. We had to make sure we were everywhere today for a couple of reasons. We're welcoming back my friend Felicia Brookins to the broadcast. She's an award-winning author of a series you guys have probably have heard about before, featuring the notorious Sister Nadine. It all began with this book you guys see here, Sister Nadine's Ways. I'm going to highlight it for you guys on the Amazon Live side. And then Felicia gave us the book Reprobate Ways. You guys can see it there as well. And she's been teasing online that she's working on book 3 as well. We may be hearing more about that as well. We'll talk to Felicia not only about the year that she's been able to have, but also what it's been like for her to hear from you, her readers, and of course, to be able to stay connected with all of you. She also has some other great projects that she's working on as well. We'll get into that a bit. But Felicia, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you, Cyrus. It's so good to be here. And before we get started, I'll make sure I give a shout out to Mom. You know, that's my friend. I want to make sure she knows I'm on, and I'm so glad to be here today.
Well, look, I am glad to be able to speak with you. You've had quite the 2023. Felicia, so before we get into Sister Nadine's, we're going to get into her here in a bit in the Ways trilogy. But what has this year been like for you to reflect on? Because I've noticed even in your social media posts, you seem to be talking a lot more about intention, about, making sure you're taking care of yourself, but also enjoying life. Talk to us about this year for you.
This year for me has been a reminder of how important it is to take care of my health mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And you know me, Cyrus, I love to share. So it's also been a year of sharing and encouraging with other people, especially with women, trying to encourage them in day-to-day activities and just being moms, sisters, friends, aunts, and what all that takes. Having a relationship takes a lot. And so for me, this year has been focusing on me being the best me that I can be, so that I'm the best I can be when I show up in these different relationships, in these different roles that I'm in. Especially since I have a lot going on. So you have to know how to show up for people when you come into the room. Who are they going to see? Are they going to see a whole person or half a person?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Felicia. Felicia, we have had a lot of great conversations over this Prime Week already. And one thing that came up actually ties into something you just said, and that is the importance of taking care of yourself. We all have heard the saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup. How important has it been for you to realize how selfless it is to make sure that you're taking care of you?
I would say that is one of those aha moments, in my life when you really focus in and understand that everything that you do comes from, this one source. And this source has to be well, it has to be whole, it has to be healthy in order to give 110% of who you are to whatever project that you're doing. So, just realizing it's okay to be, as they say, selfish when it comes to you, taking care of you.
Right.
Again, as we always hear as women, we take care of so many other people. But, when you don't take care of yourself, you are doing an injustice to everybody else that you nurture and pour into.
Yeah. We've had an opportunity to have several conversations, and I noticed the way that you sign your book, especially Sister Nadine's Ways. Felicia, you wrote, "Remember our ways impact lives." Talk to us about your own impact. What has that been like for you to realize? Because you've had so many great things happening, being author of the year, being, an award-winning author, now, of course, preparing for, the next book in the Ways trilogy. What has it been like for you to realize the impact you've been able to have through your words and through your work?
Well, Cyrus, I would say the greatest impact is that I'm humbled. When someone inboxes me or comes up to me and says to me, I attended your workshop and it motivated me to write my book, or even a post. Hey, they may inbox me and say, hey, I really needed this post today. It really helped me a lot. It's humbling. It's also gratifying for me. It makes me feel good that I can make somebody else feel good, that I can be your cheerleader on the side saying, you got this, go, you can do it. So it allows them to, tap into their potential and what all they can be and do. And just I'm honored to know that I have just a little influence on that, or I have impacted them in some way that they can move forward. It's just like paying it forward.
Yeah.
Somebody said something to me and poured something into me that made me say, go for it, Felicia. Somebody did something that made me say, I can do that. I'm of the mindset now, what's the worst you can say to me? But no. No just
Yeah.
means new opportunity.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I have felt the same way in my own career, Felicia.
Mhm.
And sometimes the no actually was a favor for me.
Right, right.
That's what I have found for myself. and
Mhm.
and so I think a lot of times, I think it is about that changing of your mindset.
Right.
But let's talk about longevity though for a moment, because let's be real about this thing, Felicia. As we're celebrating Prime Day here, we also celebrate National Book Month. That you have been around longer than some authors out there. There are some authors who have come and gone since you've been on the scene. What
Mhm.
has helped you to stay going even when others have stopped?
I would say what has kept me going has been the fact that I have a plan for my books. I didn't just write a book to write it and take it out the box and say, hey, I wrote a book. I wrote a book because I have a plan that from that book is going to come multiple things, multiple opportunities. From that book is going to come doors that I can walk through, be invited into through, or that I have to create and kick open and walk in myself.
Yeah.
So I think my longevity comes from the fact that I have a plan. I know what I want to do with my books. I know where I want them to go, and where I want to be and what I want my reputation as an author to be in the long run.
We're going to get into Sister Nadine here in a moment in the Ways trilogy, but I just want our audience to know you're so multifaceted. There's so many things you do, Felicia. I don't think people even realize. Like from prison to pens. That's another
Mm.
thing. I don't think a lot of people know that you've done. And then you and I were just talking before we went live here. Doing workshops for writers. What is it that makes you want to not just pursue your own career, but also to be able to provide a platform to help other people with their careers?
I think the main thing is how good it makes me feel.
Okay.
It means so much to me when I can again contribute or pour into someone's success. Someone that may have been thinking about it and said, I don't know how to get this out of my head into manifestation. What do I do? How do I do it? And that is also because I've been that person, at some point, oh, I want to do this. I don't know how to get started. And so along came somebody in my life and said, hey, Felicia, here's a connection I want to make with you so that you can contact this person and do what it is that you want to do. With my books, I will say Mr. Versailles Vance, and I was going to put his name out there. They're friends of ours, him and his wife, and I was sharing with them at dinner one night that I wanted to write a book. And so he passed along Mr. Anthony Harris's name to me with Tandem Light Press, and that's where it started. And so I remember how grateful I was for that and to him and to the both of them for making that connection. So I enjoy being able to do that for someone else.
Gotcha. For those who are just tuning in, you all are watching Cyrus Represents here on Amazon Live. Also, and I appreciate you guys being with us over there on Amazon. If you guys have any questions or comments for Felicia, make sure you guys put those in the chat. You'll notice her two books that are out now are in the carousel, that being Sister Nadine Ways, you see here. Also, of course, there's Reprobate Ways, the unveiling of Anne, you all can see there. And she was just talking about, of course, there is a third book, of course. We know it's a trilogy because it says on the cover, the Ways trilogy. We're going to talk to her about when you all make and expect that third book as well. So let's talk about Sister Nadine. That's kind of who started all of this. I mean, she's gotten to be so important, Felicia. She even has her own social media on Instagram. So, how did the idea for Sister Nadine come about?
Some of it is fiction in my mind, and some of it is pieces that I pulled from individuals that I've met in my life. from childhood through my young adult years, with individuals that I met in churches, individuals in my own family that some of their personality is there in some of the characters in the book. And so I always tell people that it's like I created her like you would create a big pan of macaroni and cheese. You make it and then you sprinkle the truth and fiction on the top of it. That's the cheese. And you put it in the oven, let it bake, and see what it comes out to be. She's a mixture of several different people and experiences and encounters that I've had over the years.
Did you know when you first created Sister Nadine that she would be a part of a trilogy, or was that something that developed as your ideas and story developed?
Yes, I knew that she would because of the fact that I had written in these three daughters and this husband, and I wanted to show the importance of us, especially as women, being more aware of how our ways and actions and deeds affect other people, especially people that we're supposed to be responsible for and taking care of. I wanted her character to be one that showed other women also, that people look up to us. They look at us. They cling to us for things. They come to us for things. And so, what is it that we're going to put out? Well, whatever it is, it's going to affect them. And so, once it affects them, one day they walk out of that door, or when they walk out of that door, they come in contact with other people. So, what does that look like? What happens? Whatever it is, it comes from their first interaction with you. So yeah, it had to be a trilogy because we've got to see what she's poured into these three girls and even her husband.
Right, right. What a powerful thing. So you went from Sister Nadine's Ways, which I'm going to highlight in the carousel there. You guys can get either the print edition or the Kindle edition. You can see there. And then from there, you went to Reprobate Ways, the unveiling of Anne. So I'm curious, for yourself, because you had lived with Sister Nadine for so long and Sister Nadine's Ways had kind of taken on a life of its own, Felicia, did you have any added pressure when you released Reprobate Ways?
I don't think it was pressure. I think it was a lot of expectancy from people, but I didn't consider it pressure.
Okay.
I had some feedback on some things that people were looking for and hoping that they would see in the book, and so that helped. So it took pressure off because
Okay.
they said, hey, this going to happen? We would love to see this, or what about this, and what about that? And those come in the form of beta readers, which I would say is a great idea to have. They helped. They read the first book, and from that feedback, it helped me even with the second book. So I would just say, I had more help and just expectancy of the book coming out than anything.
Love that. Love that. So for yourself then, talk to our audience then about what they can expect. For those who are brand new to you, brand new to the series, when they start reading the Ways series, what do you want them to take away from it?
I want them to, well, I would say this. First of all, I want them to expect that at some point they may see themselves or they may see someone they know in the series. I've had people to say, hey, my husband is a Sister Nadine. He acts this way. Or this is my aunt or my grandmother. Secondly, I want you to take away from this series the importance of being bold and courageous enough to look at yourself and say, is this me? Are these my ways? And if so, and you can be honest with yourself, am I willing to change? Have I thought about the impact of my words and my actions? I even want you to think about how does this character, the way she acts and treats people in her circle, or even you, how does this affect a person's decision about their relationship with God or with the church? Will it draw them forward? Will it pull them away from it? What happens? What decision will they make about their relationship with God or the church based on their experience and encounter with you or with Sister Nadine?
Interesting. Interesting. Would you say, because of course people have their own opinion, but you as a creator, do you see Sister Nadine, Felicia, as the hero or the villain?
I see her as most people would say a villain, Cyrus, but I have posed the question to people, I consider that Sister Nadine is a victim.
Mm.
And they's like, no, no, she's not a victim. She's victimized. How can she be a victim? Because the book focuses in on intergenerational trauma as one of
Yeah.
the dynamics of the book. And so when you think about that, Sister Nadine is only unconsciously repeating and living out the things that were done to her and the way they were done. And it's funny how somehow she forgot how it made her feel as a child, but she knows the mannerisms and she can imitate what was done to her to inflict pain and punishment upon other people and to lord over other individuals. It's just that she doesn't remember what that was like for her. So I say sometimes when I'm speaking to individuals that she's wearing a coat of trauma, and she's worn that coat of trauma so long till it feels comfortable on her. It's not heavy anymore like it was when she was a child. So she doesn't even really realize what she's doing. And when someone tries to tell her, she can't receive it because she doesn't see it that way.
Right. Wow. So powerful. So, you teased recently on social media about book 3. I think
Mhm.
you may have said it was with the editor. I think is what I read in a post. So, talk to us about bringing it to an end. Before we ask you what it's about, is it bittersweet to be able to bring the trilogy to an end?
I'm excited. I'm excited and amazed at my own self.
Mm.
I have visualized holding the box set in my hand because that is my plan and intention. Um, I'm excited to wrap it up with all of my fans and to let them see how all of this finally comes to an end. So I'm looking forward to it because I have some other things that I've written that are coming along that'll be coming down the pipe later on.
Okay. All right. So outside of what you've been able to do with the Ways trilogy, Felicia, again, for our audience that's joining us on the Amazon side, they may not realize this, but Felicia also has a play she's been able to write. Felicia, talk to us about that and what it feels like to be Felicia Brookins, the playwright.
Well, Cyrus, it has been quite an adventure, quite a lesson. Um,
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. It debuts December the 2nd. We've had a lot of tests and trials that come along with this production. But one thing I've always said is that God didn't tell me not to move forward. And
Hmm.
it has helped me in remembering that it's important how you react to a situation, you know, and that you don't let a no or maybe or a disappointment get you down, that you continue to move forward. I encourage women a lot on social media and say, keep going, sis, don't stop. This and that. Well, I have to do that myself. I think everyone is going to come to see the production is going to love it. It is a loose adaptation of the series, the Ways trilogy. So you will see Sister Nadine live and in person,
Hmm.
played by Lisa Brookins, who is my sister-in-law. She's a great actress.
Hmm.
Um, the book is going to feature, the production is going to feature some new characters that are not in the book that are going to be very interesting. And just so you know a little synopsis about it, it's going to focus around Nadine and her church members going on a church retreat. The pastor says, well, we're going to go on this retreat and we're going to be changed and come back brand new. We're going to come back better. Well, on the way to the retreat, they have an accident, and then things take a complete turn than what they thought they would.
All right. So that gives us something to look forward to. Pele Hunkin is joining us on Facebook. She says, good afternoon to you, Felicia. So there's a teaser, guys, of the play. It is called The Brownie. Is that right?
The Brownie, an unforgettable trip.
All right. So that's something
Indeed.
to look forward to. Also, recall, of course, while you guys are waiting on the third book in the trilogy, make sure you guys are picking up the other books. I'm going to go through them again for you guys on Amazon. Again, there's Sister Nadine's Ways. You see it there. And then we have Reprobate Ways, the unveiling of Anne. Go ahead and highlight for you guys there. So make sure you guys go ahead and pick those up. You can get them in paperback as well as the Kindle edition there on Amazon. Make sure you guys take advantage of that. And Felicia, how can they stay connected with you?
They can connect with me on Amazon. I have an author page, the Felicia Brookins. You can find me on Facebook on Book Felicia Brookins or on Instagram at The Ways Trilogy. And let me also add, Cyrus, that the book 3, the title is going to be Josie's Ways of Grace.
Josie's Ways of Grace. That gives us something to look forward to. Felicia, my friend, so glad to be able to speak with you again. Great to see you.
You too.
Congratulations on all the great things coming your way. I know there's going to be many more to come, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
You too, and congratulations to you, Cyrus.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And we thank you all for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Represents here on Amazon Live. So, again, if you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below to stay connected with all of our programming. Have 2 more great hours of Cyrus Represents coming up today here for Prime Day, but also for National Book Month. Make sure you guys are looking forward to that. 2 more conversations coming up with authors, that being author Jacqueline Cox and author Teresa A. Smith, or Dr. Taz. And then, of course, we have another great hour of great deals here on Amazon as well. So I don't want you guys to miss any of that. So make sure you guys hit that follow button. Michelle Brown is on Amazon Live. Felicia, if you can hear us, she says the place sounds interesting. Michelle, I hope you will stay connected with Felicia for sure, to stay connected with all the details for her. For all of you guys, thank you again for being with us. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying, hope you guys have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.